Hello, and thank you for joining us at ABB Robotics here in Sweden. Today is a big day for ABB, and we welcome you all to this year's biggest software launch event. I'm your host, and in the next 30 minutes, you will hear about the next step for ABB RobotStudio, a step that will transform robot programming and revolutionize your business. You'll hear firsthand from product and technical experts, see a live product demo, and hear from an ABB customer for their perspective on today's announcement. Boris and Adrian, thank you for being here today. Boris, you're the head of digital at ABB Robotics. Please, could you tell us what is going to happen today with this big announcement that you've got for RobotStudio?
Thanks, Sharon. I'm super excited of being here today. We have a great announcement to make. RobotStudio is expanding into the cloud. And with that, we're introducing a lot of cool new collaboration and some other features as well for our users. For decades now, we are installing robot systems all around the world. And we took all that experience not only to develop, but to continuously improve on our RobotStudio system, making it the industry-leading software for robot commissioning and programming. And it shows tens of thousands of users worldwide are using RobotStudio every day, delivering innovative robotic solutions to their customers.
And to what extent can RobotStudio support businesses then?
So RobotStudio is actually active in all the phases of a life cycle of a robotic cell. There are three phases. The first phase is the design and the planning. The second, building, operating, commissioning the robot cell. The last one, optimizing and maintaining. In the past, we very much focused on the first two with powerful virtual commissioning features, which really changed the way how things are done in the industry. And with RobotStudio Cloud, we are now truly closing the loop, enabling everybody in the life cycle to contribute and incrementally improving the robot system all the time.
Talking about closing the loop, Boris, let me just add a tiny bit on that. So, as you may know, at ABB, we have a very broad portfolio of automation solutions. So we have industrial robots, which we're best known for. We have collaborative robots. We have autonomous mobile robots. And I'm not even talking about the whole partner ecosystem that provides PLCs, sensors, grippers, things to add on top of the pure robotic cell and solution.
Right.
So on top of that portfolio, we have over 70 software variants to make sure we have solutions for all the use cases and requests that customers can pass on to us. Now, in my experience from visiting factories and customer sites, we see that the tough part in projects is getting all of that to work together at unison.
Yeah.
But not only do we need to get all this working together, all these devices and software solutions, they produce data.
Yeah.
They produce a lot of data. And that can be tricky to manage. We've been collecting that data for more than 10 years through our different solutions. Now, we think it's important to collect it because that's how you make data-driven and informed decisions to run a factory optimally in real-life situations. So we believe that all this data from the devices and getting them to work all together is something that can be done really well in a simulation environment. And that's why RobotStudio Cloud is the perfect hub to get started on that journey.
So it seems like expanding into the cloud is the next obvious step for RobotStudio journey.
Absolutely. And it's embedded in the new way of working, which we all got used to. I mean, just take this LinkedIn Live event as an example. I mean, dear viewers, you might see this or watch this from home. You might watch this from your office or anywhere else. And that makes life more productive and, of course, more sustainable as well, as you just don't need to travel everywhere anymore. And we at ABB Robotics, we want to be part of that solution with RobotStudio Cloud, bringing collaboration to a new level.
And you mentioned people collaborating remotely and these new ways of working. but even for people that are physically in the same room and in the same office, being able to track all the changes that were done to a specific robot program and see how things have evolved and why is really important and game-changing in the way we work today. It's something we've been unable to do in our industry for a long period of time. So we're quite convinced that this new offering and this new product will change the way people work and is really a new chapter in the history of Robot Studio.
So Boris, have you been able to measure the impact of that on any actual projects?
Absolutely. And we do not only measure the impact, we actually, from the beginning, developed RobotStudio Cloud together with our customers. Adrian and the team, they did great work, working extremely closely with the best system integrators and the most advanced customers in the simulation space to understand their needs and to develop the features which are needed. And what we learned is, first of all, great projects only materializes through great collaboration. So this is why we introduce new ways of working. And the second element, which all our customers have told us is very, very valuable to them, is to see which changes have done when, by whom, which we are introducing thanks to our traceability component.
Boris, that's truly amazing. What is the overall impact of this going to mean for the customer?
The problem we are solving is how our customers and system integrators can get the most out of their robotics investment. So we're reducing waste, we're reducing complexity in virtual commissioning, we're reducing errors and downtime in the operations phase. So everything what we do is to make the life of the user of RobotStudio simpler. So make it more flexible and make it more simple for everybody.
Wow, really looks like ABB is helping customers push the boundaries of robotic programming. I'm sure viewers are eager to hear more details about RobotStudio Cloud. Let's hear from Product Manager of RobotStudio Cloud, Magnus, who has been working for more than 20 years in software simulation technology. Magnus, over to you.
I'm absolutely honored being here today, and it's my pleasure to present to all of you watching RobotStudio Cloud. For more than 25 years, we have been the industry leaders and pioneers in offline programming simulation. We at ABB were the company that created the virtual robot controller, which is a true digital replica of the real robot software that runs down on the shop floor, and we brought that to the PC to ensure that what you see on the screen will be identical to what happened down on the shop floor. And we are still the industry leaders in this, and we are still unique in this area. Now we take the next level in digital robotics by taking RobotStudio into the cloud, allowing users to create, to simulate, and to collaborate in real time on automation solutions. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you RobotStudio Cloud.
So Magnus, collaboration, simplicity, transparency, and best-in-class technology all rolled into one powerful online tool. Magnus, please, we can't contain ourselves. Could you divulge to us how users will benefit from this revolutionary robotic software?
Yeah, the first key highlight is of course the collaboration. Cloud technology enables coworkers, partners, and customers to collaborate in real time on automation projects at any device from anywhere around the world. You can invite your team members and keep everybody in the loop.
Yeah.
That will speed up the commissioning time without the need really to be there physically on site. Traditionally, you have to travel to the factory, sit next to the robot, do the changes and push it down to the robot. But now you can completely solve that remotely by getting invited to the product and solve the things. So as a result, I see team members to get more efficient and to be updated and to be able to work from anywhere with this technology.
So efficiency while working together, anywhere. But what about simplicity, the simplicity aspect?
Yep. So we have, the tool is designed for editing and tuning of an existing automation solution, and it comes really with an intuitive interface and simple navigation that empowers all users on all different levels. And we've taken only the needed but necessary features from the desktop and moved it into the cloud to support, fast changes, but still accurate changes to the robot program. And the product is designed so that it will lower the threshold for automation, allowing new users and new segments to move into robotics, as well to support our more advanced users in the daily work.
Well, you know what? I think we all enjoy a sleek interface with easy navigation. Tell us a little bit more about the transparency side of things.
Transparency is one of the most challenging things in a production system. To keep track of all the different versions and understand what is actually executing down on the robot controller is very difficult. RobotStudio Cloud comes with a version control system that is built in, so you can keep track of all these versions. You can allow multiple users to work in multiple branches without affecting the original file. And you can see all these versions in this tree, and you can easily roll back to previous changes if needed. So I would say we have, in software development, this is like standard. So we've taken those principles from the software development and moved it into automation, but simplified it. So I would say this functionality will be groundbreaking for all our users in the next few years.
Wonderful. So I think the thing that we need to repeat here is that all of this on top of the incredible industrial leading RobotStudio platform, which has delivered in the past decades best-in-class virtual controller technology.
Exactly. That's really important to say. We take the entirety of the virtual robot controller and move that into the cloud, allowing users to test different scenarios, use cases, and do changes to the robot program with confidence. Because the virtual robot controller guarantees the exact cycle time, the exact same behavior, the exact same logic. And so really what you see on the screen is what will you get down on the shop floor.
And I'm assuming that it's all secure, right?
Sure, of course. Since we started creating this product, we built in security from the beginning. So the product comes with enterprise-grade protection level. And the data you store and upload to the cloud is only your data. Not us, no third party can access it. It's only accessible by you unless you share it, of course, with someone else.
Right. Okay, so I have the tool which makes working together on robotic programming easier. What about getting the robot actually to execute those programs in real life?
Yep. It can be done in quite straightforward, easy fashion, really. You just do you test everything, you test every virtual controller, and then you just download the program and deploys it into production.
You're right. Thanks, Magnus, for that thorough product walkthrough. Exciting highlights for RobotStudio and how it's going to affect the market. For those that are interested in finding more about RobotStudio's virtual control technology, you can read about it in ABB's new white paper. We will share the link in the chat. So now let's make it real and look at RobotStudio Cloud in action.
Hi, Adrian.
All right, Magnus. Good that you come and join me. So this is the star of the show, really. This is when we show RobotStudio Cloud live. And just to get ourselves into it, let's pretend like we are two people working in a particular company on a given RobotStudio project. Yep. So as usual, everything starts with RobotStudio Desktop as we know it. To be able to use the cloud, everybody's going to need the latest and greatest version of RobotStudio, which is coming out on December 12th. But let's fire up RobotStudio and open a particular cell, and maybe you can tell us a little bit what we're looking at here.
Sure, thanks, Aiden. Yep, what we're going to do, we have a small sample station where you and I will upload to the cloud, and you and I will collaborate around it. So I will start first from the beginning to create this simple, small program, upload it in cloud, and invite you to collaborate with me. So let's get going.
All right, so over here we have, what do we have? It's a small welding station, right? Where we have a robot, particular fixture, and it's trying to move it in between three separate walls. So first thing we're going to need is kind of a path to go from point A to point B. And we actually had fun with this particular station with our own engineers who needed a few hours to program this path optimally. But RobotStudio can do a bit better than that.
Exactly. So you just select start end position, and the system creates the collision-free path automatically for you, as you can see now on the screen. So it moves collision-free, and we are pretty much done in seconds to create this path. So the next thing I will do is actually just upload it into the cloud. So I will share it, I will store it, and upload it. So I just do this, and now it's on its way to the cloud. Okay. So I can move into the cloud project portal. And as you can see, the created station, the one that I just created, is now uploaded here. And this is my products. I'm the only one that can see them. And the only thing that I have to do to get you started to collaborate with me is to go into the version or into the dashboards of this one and invite you to our team. So I simply press the invite team, type in your email, create an invite, and email that to you. And now you and me are team members. Okay, and now over to you, Adrian.
All right, so I got your email.
Perfect.
It's right here in my inbox with the invite link. So let me just click on it and see if this all works as planned. So hopefully I can log in with my personal user account. This is just mine. And yes, I received the cell that you just uploaded a minute ago. So right here, we can actually see the project with all the different things that were created by Magnus. And I have access to all of the branches.
Exactly. And the first thing now, because I'm the owner of this project, you need to create what we call a specific branch to do your changes. So you have to create a new branch just to be able to start doing edits to this product. So,
all right.
So first start by creating a new branch.
So right here, I click on new.
New, and you just name it to something clever. And then you're ready to do the changes to the product. And this is like standard in software industries, that you don't work on the main branch, you do the things there first, and when you're happy, you take those changes and put them back to the main branch.
So now that I've created this branch, I can basically do the changes I want on the project without messing around with whatever you might have had before.
Without affecting it. So please open up the graphical view where you can do the tuning and edits.
All right. And there we have it. I do recognize the cell that you were mentioning from just before. It's the same one with the same path that we had on desktop a minute ago. And as everybody can see, we have this smaller interface that's a little bit simplified. Maybe you can walk us through the different sections that we have on screen here.
So the first thing and the most powerful thing is that you can see now the virtual controller is starting up. So we have the virtual controller in the cloud. And that, of course, will make it possible if you test and run and debug the product. So you can actually put in breakpoints and scan through it, just as you can do in a desktop product. Together with that, of course, you have the graphical view where you do the edits and the rapid programming window where you do the changes to the code. But as we said, we have a quite simplified and intuitive interface, so you can actually just select the instruction and do an edit. So if you just demo that, Adrian, a little bit, so you select one of the instructions there and change some of the arguments.
Sure.
And you have 2 or 3 different options really here. One is, of course, that you type it as normal, or you select that one and go to the Properties tab to the left and choose the given arguments that you can do.
All right.
So you don't have to be really an expert to do any of those changes.
Maybe I'll just try and change the speed a little bit in the robot program over here. Let's assume I want to run my production a little faster because we're a little bit late behind schedule. So instead of going at a 500 speed, maybe we try going at 1,000. See how that works out on a few things here. Let's not get too crazy. Let's not mess up our production all at once. But maybe we can try and do that. So I suppose I just save it with the commit button?
Exactly. So now you commit it, and that means that you create a new version in the version control tree.
And I have to basically say what I did, so
exactly.
it's tracked.
So that is the traceability part of it, that we understand what type of things you added to that program.
All right, so I committed my changes. So they should all be in here, but perhaps before going any further, we just check that they actually work in the cloud simulation.
I think that's a smart idea.
So I'll just press play. And normally we should see more or less the same program as we had on desktop before, but with slightly higher speed with all the changes that were made.
Cool.
And there it is. Exactly the same thing, but with some slight changes as we saw a second ago. But so the interesting part is how we make sure that the two versions that we have are actually going to work together.
Exactly. So the next thing you have to do is to go back to the version control tree, and from your branch, make sure it's updated, and then take your changes and merge them, what we call, take your changes and push them into the main branch to make it accessible for the others in the team, for me, for example.
All right, so I just refreshed the page.
Yep.
And we can see that the commit, where I changed the speed, and it's now really, really fast, is back up here, so we can actually see the changes.
Yep.
And if I click on merge,
exactly,
it's going to push everything together.
Exactly.
And so what do we see on this actual screen?
So this is what you have done and the target. So that's his main branch. You see the difference between them and the changes that you added for, clear transparency, traceability of the edits that have happened to that product.
All right, so I can see on the left the version that was yours before.
Exactly.
I can see on the one,
and your changes.
the right, what I did.
Exactly.
Over here with the slightly upgraded speed. So if I click on merge again, it's going to put everything together.
And then it's going to create a new version in the main branch,
all right,
where your changes included.
Let's give it a try. Fantastic.
Cool.
So it's now back here.
Yep.
So looks like nothing, but this is really, really cool when you think about what actually happened. But where it's going to get even a little bit cooler, what we would like to see is all those changes go back to RobotStudio on the desktop.
Exactly.
Make sure that there's no discrepancies between the different things that we're doing. So maybe we pass it back to your computer and see if all that works in sync as it should.
So you made a commit to the main branch. We are a bit out of sync right now, but as you can see in the desktop product right now, you get a message that things have changed from the outside. So you just, take those changes and push them down to your computer.
Yeah, that's what you can see in the yellow banner at the top right there.
Exactly. So you can see changes have happened. So I just review them to make sure that, those are the changes. And I just grab those changes, pull them up to my PC, and we are now in sync. And that's pretty much what it's all about. You and me collaborate. We have, this working against the same data with different tools, and you use the tool what you're most comfortable with, and you edit and update it along my automation product.
That's great. So just as a quick summary, what we saw is we both got invited to work into the same project on two laptops that were not connected to each other, nothing special. I did changes, you did changes, and at the end we put them all back together, and the user can choose which version is the best for him and track which one is being pushed onto different devices. So that is the power of RobotStudio Cloud and what's being brought into market today.
Adrian, that's so intuitive and, like you said earlier, a very familiar way for working for many of us. It seems very simple, but is there a huge benefit? There is a huge benefit to this, isn't there?
Yes, there is. And really the highlight for me is that the problem that we're trying to solve is this person that's running around the factory with a USB stick in their hand, and they're updating devices and making changes all day long, every day, and then eventually something happens, something breaks down, and there's no trace of anything that happened. There's no way of finding the root cause of that particular issue. So that's why we really wanted to bring the version control feature out as quickly as we can to get started on the path to solve that problem. Now today we have a first answer to that issue. And as you saw, we can track changes that are done in RobotStudio, in RobotStudio Cloud, merge them together, and at least keep a trace of what's being pushed where. But we have a lot of ideas on how to make that better. And where we want to go eventually is being able to get all the data from the robots, all the data from the cloud, and push everything back down to the factory at the press of a button. It's pretty standard to work like that in the software industry today, but it's really not. In robotics, in automation, and in the industrial world at large. So we're quite happy and excited to see if we can change our own habits in this process and bring something new to the table.
So Boris, can you explain how the cloud is adding to the RobotStudio suite and works complementary to the desktop version?
It's a great question, Sharon. RobotStudio Desktop and Cloud are actually working hand in hand. So normally you want to set out and with detailed simulation using RobotStudio Desktop, and we have seen that in the simulation Magnus and Adrian did. I mean, they prepared this whole demo, did work through the process, and then if you're done, you want to share it with other colleagues. So for example, with sales. So here I do have on my tablet, I do have the same station again, which is on the cloud. I can now with that, I can go to the customer, I can show the system, I can work through the details, maybe do some last touch-ups and send back to engineering. So that really improves the workflow as we work today. It makes it much more efficient and simpler for our customers.
So Adrian, today we've heard that this amazing software will speed up programming and commissioning time. Can you give us any concrete ranges how big the positives could be?
Sure. We have a lot of experience over the past 2 decades of working with simulation and virtual commissioning. And we know that particularly for larger projects, operations that can take weeks or months to set up, if they're simulated, can be brought down to just a few days of disruption on the production line, which is a huge time saver and benefit for the companies that are doing that. If you go into fine detail on the simulation, we can even go to, by the time we reach start of production, projects with 0 downtime, which is completely unheard of on traditional projects with robotics and automation. So we're adding collaboration and transparency tools that were demonstrated today to this whole value that we have in RobotStudio. So we're expanding that offering. But bear in mind also something that was at the beginning of the demonstration, which can save a lot of time too, which is there's no need to program paths for robots point by point, which is something that can take hours. You can do that in seconds, and RobotStudio will generate the path for you. So it's really quite groundbreaking. What we're doing here, we really believe in the path that's being started. We gave all these changes and demo versions to beta testers, system integrators, and partners this year, and their feedback was overwhelmingly positive to us. So we're very happy to bring it to the world, and we hope that everybody out there will enjoy it as much as they did.
This is a great time to actually think about ABB's valued customer in the US, Lincoln Electric. Let's hear from Matt.
Hey guys, my name is Matt Bergen, and I'm an applications engineer with Lincoln Electric Automation. Having worked personally with RobotStudio for over 6 years now, I'm really excited to have been invited by ABB to join this event from our facility in Fort Collins. Lincoln Electric is an industry leader in arc welding and cutting, and we are proud to be known as the welding experts. We're the supplier of toys for a wide range of industries and markets, including automotive and transportation, shipbuilding, building construction, power generation, pipelines, and offshore platforms, to just name a few. A big part of what we do for our customers relies on developing advanced and new fabrication techniques, often making innovative use of arc welding, cutting, bending, forming, and material removal processes. Robotics enhances our ability to innovate, and RobotStudio is instrumental in helping us bring new products and solutions to market and to optimize workflow efficiency. At Lincoln Electric, we use RobotStudio on a daily basis from engineering to commissioning. On a project with average complexity, RobotStudio allows us to cut our development and commissioning time in half. On a larger, complex, offline programming project, we reduced real robot downtime by 90% in some cases when compared to pendant-only approach. You can be up and running with RobotStudio extremely quickly. Because we were working on the application of RobotStudio ahead of time, we had our software running on our new Gopher cobot within 45 minutes of receiving and powering on. RobotStudio also plays a significant role in helping enhance employee safety. A lot of our work is in the heavy welding space for clients in industries like mining, construction, and agriculture. By simulating in RobotStudio, we don't need to send our people 30 feet up a ladder or dispatch them to potentially hazardous locations to perform manual testing. We know with confidence that what we see in the simulation is exactly what will happen when we deploy on the factory. Today, we're really excited by the announcement of RobotStudio Cloud and the additional benefits that it will bring to our business. One breakthrough that's particularly attractive to us is the opportunity to keep the team in sync during all parts of the planning, designing, and programming process. Collaborating in the cloud lets different team members work on the same project, keeping track of all changes in real time. Thanks again to Magnus and everyone on the ABB Robotics team who have put so much effort into the development of RobotStudio Cloud. It's great working with a partner who has such a deep understanding of what we and our clients really need, with the ability to deliver solutions that bring us obvious business benefits. Congratulations on today's launch, and we look forward to using RobotStudio in the latest remarkable development of their industry-leading technology for many more years to come.
Thank you, Matt. That's high praise for RobotStudio Cloud. Incredibly, they've reduced their commissioning time by half and reduced their downtime by 90%.
Yeah, it makes me really proud to hear how RobotStudio Cloud can help our customers in their daily business.
So, can you tell me where and when we can find RobotStudio Cloud?
Sure. The cloud feature is part of the premium license of RobotStudio. So you just sign in, you go to our website and request a license there. And you can find links in the chat and here as well in the screen.
Thank you all for watching as we showcased ABB's groundbreaking RobotStudio Cloud. I hope you found today useful, and I really hope that you all have a wonderful day.